You do not need another bulk phase. You need an athletic phase. That's right, y'all. We need to stop this whole like size is the prize thing because for one, lean is and always has been and always will be law. But more than that, y'all gotta understand bulking is not what you think it is. And y'all might think that I'm just like someone who hates on bulking, someone who hates on bodybuilding. Y'all, it's actually the complete opposite. I used to be like pretty much a bodybuilder myself. I used to be a dude that would bulk myself all the time. Back when I was in college, y'all, I would be going to the gym 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, damn near every single day. I'm constantly eating around the clock. I would make sure I get my first meal in by 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, noon, have a little snack, 2 o'clock, have a real lunch, 4 o'clock, have a pre-dinner snack, 6 o'clock, have a dinner, 8 o'clock, have my little, before bed little sweet treat. I'm constantly eating around the clock. And yeah, I'm putting on size. I'm getting stronger in the gym. I'm getting bigger. But it came at a cost. For one, I didn't feel as confident as I did once I became athletic. Like I would go to the beach and sometimes you look good. Sometimes you kind of just look like a bloated whale. You put in all this work and you end up going to the beach just to have a mid physique. Yeah. Yeah, fuck all that. On top of that too, it was just like I wasn't getting the attention from women that I really wanted. And then I would look around, I would see why are all the athletes getting all the attention? These just lean, aesthetic, proportional dudes. Why are they having so much more success with women than me? I thought I was a catch 22. I thought, bro, I'm in the gym every day. I'm super disciplined. I'm super structured. I'm big and I'm strong. Look, what you gotta understand is like that's really just not it. Because when you train in that manner where it's so disciplined, it's so structured, it's so, I don't even know. It's literally like just so blocky and just so predetermined. You kind of box in your mind as well. When you're constantly just going through these same movement patterns, push the weight, bring the weight down, push the weight up, bring the bar down, push the weight back up with your legs and whatnot. When you're doing just these basic ass movements, these basic movements that are literally just in a box, you kind of trap your mind in a box. One thing you'll find with a lot of bodybuilders is like outside of their personal bodybuilding community, they're just kind of like, they're kind of squares. Like you talk to a lot of bodybuilders, there's this sort of like squarish, blocky, you could almost call it meathead, not in a bad sense, like, like they're like jocks or whatever, but just in a way where it's like the thinking is very basic. The thinking is very, boxed in and logical. It's very structured. And, there's a time and a place for that. But to constantly be logical, to constantly be structured, to kind of lose this primal childlike nature that you were born with, by the way, because you were born just with this, primal childlike nature. You kind of begin to lose that the more you go to the gym. Yes, it'll get you swollen and whatnot. But doing this over enough time, again, like I said, it just kind of, you begin to become trapped in your body. You begin to become trapped in your mind, doing these same movements over and over again, sitting under these fluorescent lights, walking on this treadmill that literally goes nowhere. Like that's the whole issue with like bulking and the whole bodybuilding is like, ultimately, it's purposeless. It's purposeless. It's nothing more than vanity. Let's be real. The whole goal is to go on the stage and be like, you know what I mean? Like flex your muscles and all that. Bro, that's not doing shit. And it wasn't until I switched from, going and doing this bulky bodybuilder stuff to really training with a purpose. I started training to get on the football team. I started training and playing football and whatnot. I played football at the University of Miami. So it's like, as soon as I started doing that, everything kind of flipped. I went from sitting down all day to being in motion all day, to constantly moving, and really like waking up and knowing what my purpose was, because I knew what my purpose was. I wake up every day and I'd be like, damn, bro, I got to wake up and try to be the best football player that I could possibly be today. My training switched as well. Instead of just lifting all the time, now I'm doing more explosive lifts, I'm doing squats, but I really got to drive the weight up. I'm doing hang cleans and power cleans. I'm doing a whole bunch of plyometrics and whatnot, jumping up, jumping down. I'm running sprints, man. Like the sprints is what really changes your body. On top of that too, though, we're still doing like, quote unquote bodybuilder movements, but the intent is different. You're no longer lifting with the intent to like put on size. You're lifting with the intent to get strong, to gain that just real raw muscle. Because don't get me wrong, when you get strong, you still put on muscle, but it's a different type of muscle. It's more dense. The bodybuilder muscle, it's more flat, not flabby, but it's not as dense. There's almost like a bit of a softness, almost a fluffiness to it. But once you're like, like this lifting to get strong, lifting to be athletic, you're trying to gain power, your body takes on a different proportion. You gain just a different a different sort of density, a different sort of like rawness and power about yourself. So yeah, as soon as I started training like an athlete, as soon as I started training to join the team and whatnot, it's just everything changed. I started getting more of the women that I wanted. I would go to the beach, and now all of a sudden it's like eyes is on me. I never have to worry about going to a beach and whether or not I'm looking bloated. It's like, nigga, I got abs 24/7 everywhere I go, 365 days a year. It was, it's so smooth. It's so smooth. And even more than that as well, I was able to dial in my nutrition. Like no longer was I out here just eating like Rice Krispie treats for the pump or just constantly eating around the clock. Now I'm eating with a lot more purpose. It's like if I'm gonna eat, it's to fuel my training. If I'm eating in the morning, sometimes I would eat around 10 a.m. and whatnot. I would have some fruit. It's because I need that energy to go lift. I need that energy to go train. I need that energy to go sprint or whatnot. It's like I'm no longer just eating around the clock just because, oh, size is the prize. No, I'm eating with a purpose. Everything became purposeful. And even more than that, it's like when you're just moving your body in honestly ways you can't describe. I'm out here doing backflips. I'm out here sprinting, jumping, lifting explosively, doing all sorts of crazy movements too. Like we would do bear crawls, we would do lunges and whatnot. It's like you kind of re-unlock that primal childlike nature. Like there's a reason why a lot of athletes you look at when they're just like when we're just moving throughout daily life, it's like, bro, we're pretty much just kids, bro. We're just kids, but we done grew into these like, specimen like bodies where now we can run fast, we can jump high, we all swole and athletic and whatnot. We lean though. Like, the only way, because think about it, what do kids do? Kids play games, kids run, kids move, kids imagine. What do you do as an athlete? You move, you run, you're playing the game, you're imagining, visualizing what your opponent's gonna do so that way you can react the right way and then get the result that you want out of the game. Like you're in a basketball game, you're thinking that your opponent's gonna do this, so you're gonna do this. You're gonna cross over that way to go drive to the lane and score a bucket or whatnot. You're playing football, you think the DB is gonna try to jam you like this, so you come up with a move in your head to come up with something to counter that to, get out of there and get open and catch the ball if you're a wide receiver. It's like there's something that you unlock when you start training to be athletic again. And it's something that really can't be described. You just rediscover that primal childlike nature where it's just like, nigga, I'm just, you stop caring essentially. You stop caring about external opinions and you just focus on what you can control, which is yourself, your body, your movements, and what exactly it is that you want to do, your purpose. Simple. So how exactly do you do this, y'all? Because let's be real, the age of the bodybuilder, being all bulky and whatnot, look, let's be real. That shit is done. That shit is cut and dry. It's not worth it. Because you think about it, like, where does that road end? Like, really, where does that road end? Bro, eventually, if you want to keep on putting on size and getting stronger, for one, you reach a point of diminishing returns where it's just like, bro, how much bigger can you get? How much stronger can you get? You're gaining like 5 pounds on your bench a year. You're putting on like maybe a pound of muscle a year after your first few initial years. It's like, what's the point? But with athletics, there's always a new frontier. There's always a new opponent. There's always someone new to face. There's always something new happening. You got to stay on top of your game because people are trying to take your spot. You got to maintain your spot if you're at the top and whatnot. Or if you're not at the top, you're gunning for someone else's spot. They're like, there's just so much more moving parts. It's beautiful. It's art. It's art in its purest form. The raw expression of human capabilities. So how exactly do you start doing this? How do you start your athletic phase? And I'm gonna tell you exactly how, because this is exactly what I did. Like I said, I was in the gym and whatnot, but in order to start my athletic phase, it all started with sprints, y'all. Sprinting. I started sprinting as much as possible. And not just doing sprints, but doing like change of direction drills, because I was specifically training for football. So doing like 5-10-5s, doing L drills, just doing all these different cone drills and whatnot, working on my agility, but on top of that, working on my speed, working on my quickness, my acceleration. Genuinely, you need to start sprinting, because what's going to happen is like you will literally age your body backwards. I was talking to this dude at the park the other day, and he's telling me, yeah, the older you get, man, the harder it gets to stay in shape and whatnot. And I heard that, and I'm just like, no, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. He's like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, nigga, no. It's just when people get older, they just stop doing the stuff they did as kids. They stop imagining. They stop reading. They stop playing. They get all serious with their suit and ties and whatnot. And like, oh, I got to be all put together. Don't get me wrong. Be put together. But like, nigga, you can still dream. You can still imagine. The creative adult, the adults who are really winning, they're just the children who survive. The children who are still able to use their imagination. Now they just got more power because they're in these big grown up bodies. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's step one though. You just gotta start sprinting, start moving, y'all. And if sprinting isn't your thing, and start just playing games. Start playing basketball a few times a week. Start going to boxing classes and whatnot. You need to start moving your body athletically. Move your body in some form of more than just basic ass movements. These one-dimensional ass movements. When you do one-dimensional ass movements, you become a one-dimensional ass person. You need to be going through all the planes of dimension. You know, you got to be like turning to catch the ball. You know, then post up, boom, 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 turn around, a little jumper, a little floater or whatnot. You know, rotate your body to throw punches and whatnot. Like change direction, lateral quickness and stuff like that. Like you can't just settle for average. So, anyways, before I go too deep into the topic, just sprint 2 times a week. That's all you gotta do. And by the way, like all the stuff that I'm telling you, this is exactly what I prescribe to my clients and whatnot. Like I create programs for my clients that they can use in order to become athletic and aesthetic, as well as ascetic, which means to be disciplined. So if y'all want to get right with that, click the top link in the description below and go and get one-on-one coaching with me. Schedule a call and see if we're a good fit. But the second thing that you want to do is you actually do want to lift, but you don't want to lift like a bodybuilder. When you're lifting like an athlete, the goal is not size. It's not just, oh, let me see how big I can get. Let me lift in the hypertrophy rep range. No, the goal is strength, because you want to be able to, like, if you're playing football, you want to be able to take hits or dish out punishment like if you're a running back. If you're playing basketball, again, you want to be able to take on contact, or you want to be able to, like, you know, be able to defend someone and get bumped by them without like falling back and whatnot, without getting boxed out for a rebound or something. You want to be strong. So when you're lifting, you lift for strength. And how do you gain strength? Through big compound movements, squats, hang cleans, power cleans, lunges, bench press. On top of that too, stuff like just mastering your basic body weight, push-ups, pull-ups, dips. You know, also another thing you got to realize is like stuff like squats and lunges, these are all that's just weighted calisthenics. That's just weighted body weight movements. The more you know, I guess. But yeah, you got to just be lifting athletically. On top of that, doing stuff like plyometrics, jumping, box jumps, def jumps, little pogos and whatnot. You need to be just lifting with intent to get stronger, to get more explosive, to get more powerful. Because you combine that with sprinting, with moving, with playing your sport, whatever that may be, it just combines and just turns you into a specimen of a human, a specimen of an athlete. You feel me? You feel me? And then the last thing you want to do as well when it comes to athletic training is just you want to be intentional with your nutrition. And what I always recommend is going to be fasting and eating real food, meaning that you skip breakfast, you don't eat your first meal for 4 to 6 hours till after you wake up, and you stop eating about 2 to 4 hours before you go to bed. As simple as that. Now, a lot of people like to say that fasting is starvation. Y'all, it is not. I'm telling you to eat less food. I'm telling you to eat less often. And then when you do eat real food, you know, whole meats and whatnot, you know, grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, you know, chicken that isn't fed corn and soy and whatnot, wild-caught fish. You also want to be getting in, you know, your good fruits, your good roots, your good veggies, you know, potatoes, yams. Make sure it's all organic, and then you don't got to panic. As simple as that. And another thing is, well, when it comes to nutrition, obviously, if you can't afford organic, then just get what you can. Get what you can afford. Just make sure that it's real food, you know. Do what you can. Go to the local Fry's, go to the local Food City, and do what you can. But y'all, that's all it really takes to be an athlete, is you got to sprint, obviously. You got to lift with the intent to get more powerful, to aid your speed, to aid your explosiveness. You got to lift with the intent to get more athletic. And then you just got to refuel. You got to replenish your body properly. And with fasting and with proper nutrition and eating real food, you can do that. And again, if you need help with this, again, click the top link in the description below. Go and get one-on-one coaching with me. Come and get right. It's truly that simple, y'all. And just remember, y'all, the age of being bulky, of being a bodybuilder, is done. It's done so. It's not it. It's not the wave. It's not the move. The age of being athletic, being aesthetic, being ascetic, being athletic is here. So just remember to stay up, stay blessed, and stay based. Remember, self-love is self-discipline. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the last video I made about what playing D1 football taught me about women. And then just stay tuned for the next video, y'all, because, shoot, we in a flow now. We posting every single day, y'all. So with all that being said, I'm out. Dooski.